no one can hear you scream.
Ugh, that's kind of gross. There's a lot of genres out there, but there seems to be one that exists to bring out the most emotion out of any other, and that's horror. It just hits differently, you know? Especially during this time of the year. And while being afraid is the emotion that everyone has taken part of in one way or another, I never gave time to stop and think, why? Why is horror so popular? Better yet, why do we seek it? If I remember correctly, the reason we feel this way is due to instinct. It's a safety precaution. We feel this way not only because we're frightened, but it's also there to prevent ourselves from doing the most stupidest shit. We see a man with a knife, we run. We experience night terrors, we stay up all night. We see an overgrown man cosplay as an anime girl, we call the cops. It's a natural reaction, but it's also a rare one. While anger and happiness are things that people encounter on a daily basis, fear is an emotion that's rarely prevalent in everyday life. Since the dawn of human civilization, it was such a common thing. Grand armies waging war against neighboring kingdoms, horrific plagues ravaging the countryside, receiving surgery without the use of anesthetics. Man, human history was fucked. That was back then though. Everything now seems to be a lot better, right? No, this is worse. Fuck. Well then, I don't fucking know. While it's nice that most people in the world no longer have to be fearful of their lives, the downside to all of that is that life has gone to the point where everything seems so boring. Man, dude, I want to be able to 1v1 a bear without having to worry about my intestines getting mauled to bits. Humans seek excitement. They want to be able to do horrific things without having to deal with the consequences of said actions. People want to be scared, yeah, but not at the expense of their lives. And so we turn to media in order to live out our fantasies. Whether if it's watching a movie, watching a show, reading a manga, or just playing a game.
Oh, you already started the plane.
Sometimes we all need a break from reality, and what no better way to do so than by scaring the living hell out of you. Video games are a perfect gateway for that, more so than any other media. You're able to place yourself into the world, causing a strong connection to the story. Compared to movies or books, every good, bad, and horrible decision is made by you, the player. For me, there are three pillars that make a horror game. The first one being the plot. What is the purpose of collecting these notes? Why is everyone turning into man-eating monsters? Who is this weird figure pursuing me? Why is Thomas here? Give me the reason why this is happening to me. Why should I invest my time into this game? I need a clear goal, whether it's to escape and run away or to fight my way through. And yeah, I know you don't need a grand overlapping story to scare someone, but to me all the best horror games and films are the ones that leave an impression on you, even after you're done experiencing them. I want to play a game that will force me to keep my Bob Minion nightlight on. Yeah, I have one, so what? The environment is also an important thing that they must get right. The surroundings should help elevate the story, not bring it down. Atmosphere of a game should be well grounded, enough to knock the user's sense of security. Like a maze you can't escape from, it needs to add the sense of hopelessness. It needs to be a place where I myself wouldn't want to be in. But of course, what kind of place is hell if it's just gonna play Cruel Angel Thesis? Music is a great amplifier to horror. It adds suspense to an already dire situation. But of course, that isn't the only path that can be chosen. Sometimes less is more. Quietness could leave you feeling isolated and cut off from the world, leaving behind a feeling of dread and emptiness, which unto itself is a different type of horror. However, relying too much on one of those things could without a doubt be a detriment to the finished product. One fatal flaw that I see in too many games is the reliance on an overused trope. The jump scare. If used effectively, they can add to the overall terror, but if your whole shtick is revolved around them, but then it can get old.
What the dog doing?
Now, that's not the only trope that exists in games, but it is the most overused one that I've seen. There's also another thing I want to discuss, but before that, we first gotta go back in time. I was a youngster. My best friend just moved away, and the girl that I like thinks I'm a weirdo. Man, I was depressed, despite not knowing how to spell the word. Religion was kind of a huge part of my life growing up. Sunday school banged a clear mentality in my feeble brain. The school taught me that if I sin, I will go to hell. And as a kid, that's fucking traumatizing. And so I always tried to be an honest and kind child. But yet I still shoplifted. Sorry Jesus, but apparently Hot Wheels come before religion. This one time my neighbor came over with a copy of Resident Evil 4. I didn't really pay much attention to the game until he told me I could borrow it for the night. With him gone, I smacked that bitch into the PS2 and had a go. And my god did I shit my pants. I did not want to touch that game, let alone the disc. In my childish mind, this felt like a ploy from the devil, as if he was trying to lure me in through his demonic temptations. I gave the game back because clearly I did not want it. Jump forward a few years, the same neighbor came back to hang out, and lo and behold, he had the same game with him. And so I played the game again, except something was different this time. After completing the game up until the El Gigante boss fight, I had a epiphany. I was a fucking wuss. This game kinda dumb. Look at that. What the fuck? Napoleon? The villagers are dumb, Leon was an acrobatic wizard, Ashley had booth physics, the dialogue was corny.
Is she... well, you know.
Don't worry, she's cool.
What? What does that even mean? And of course, panty shots.
Pervert!
Okay, but what's the point of this? How is this related? Fool. Everything's related, including the panties. The way people can perceive horror can change over time. Something that scared you as a kid probably doesn't mean jack shit anymore. We all have different customs, religions, and experiences that play a role into what exactly scares us. So what makes a horror game scary? Well, it all just boils down to you and all the life experiences you've encountered so far. And yeah, I know that sounds kind of cringy, but honestly I don't have any other way to put it, and that's just how I feel. Sure, I could take the time and come up with a definitive answer to the question, but to tell you the truth, that just seems more work than it's worth. And that's just boring. Yeah, that's about it. Now, I don't know if this video is coming out before or after Halloween, and if it's after, well then, that's embarrassing. Oopsie. But if it's before, well then I hope you guys have a spooky Halloween. See ya.